We're really happy to have you here on another weekly broadcast of Torn Tuesday. Welcome to Torn Tuesday. I'm doing my best Jordan Rennells right now. Going to be a very ASMR type of show today. This is an amazing broadcast because it brings together the very best of Tolkien fandom and all of these creative people who we're surrounded with in our community. And they got together this past weekend. We had a big, exciting outdoor picnic to celebrate Bilbo's birthday and his nephew Frodo's birthday. So, generally observed on September 22nd, that would be International Hobbit Day. But we did our big outdoor picnic in Griffith Park on Sunday, the 21st. And we had lots and lots of wonderful people there and food galore, and so many games and good people and good times and refreshing drinks and a lot of music and tears of joy and laughter and a really good time. So, happy Hobbit Day. One day late, okay? Our broadcast is only one day late from International Hobbit Day, September 22nd, celebrated year round. And, well, we did our September 21st gathering in Griffith Park, and it was kind of like a miniature Renaissance fair. To me, it kind of looked like that and felt like all the vibes that you would get at a Renaissance fair, but it was strictly all these Tolkien fans. We had a lovely day. And I don't know, you'll see pictures posted all over the internet, all over Instagram and everywhere of the wonderful people who are participating. And I didn't get sunburned as badly as I thought I would. I was out there in the sun all day. The cake decorating contest, wonderful. The costume contest, it was wonderful. And then we had a pretty rip roaring trivia contest, which really was a surprise. A lot of people were quickly eliminated by trick questions. There were some very tricky trick questions. And altogether, it was a really grand time. A grand time had by all. It was free, entirely free. We had people flying from across the country, from as far away as Boston, Massachusetts, to come to Los Angeles. We had guests from all over the state of California, all over the nation, and I had a lovely good time. Justin, you were there. You got yourself some delicious cheese and roast chicken and cupcakes, and gosh, we had a lot of good food that day, didn't we?
So many potatoes. I love
Oh, yes.
potatoes, and you can't
Yes.
do it. But there's so many cosplayers. Cliff, talk about the cosplay.
The cosplay blew everyone's mind. I mean, these are regular folks who come in every year to do this, but they work for months and months doing hand sewing, hand embroidery. There was the lady who won first place in the contest did an Eowyn costume with all these little details in the fabric, and then on top of her beautiful costume, she created a cape, a flowing midnight blue cape that had embroidered stars in the fabric. It was really lovely. She won first place. We had the little ones, the tiniest little kids, little toddlers, and the little babies. They were all dressed up in their hobbity best, and their parents made quite sure that they had movie accurate costumes for the little ones. It was rather charming and, you know, I had a great time bringing in some of our judges. We had Stella, rock and roll heavy metal star from Brazil. We had Kyle. Kyle is an often winning top prizes at San Diego Comic Con for his amazing handmade costumes. And we had Nancy, who's our regular volunteer for the OneRing.net. So all of our judges got together. Then this amazing wandering wizard came through the party. He was 6'7", and then on top of that pointy hat, he was about 9 feet tall. 9 feet tall, this crazy Gandalf the Grey. And he went and had lots of photos with all the people. We had a really great day. I was trying to get some rest because I'd had a pretty rough week, a lot of manual labor in my life right now. And I was trying to sit down and eat and relax. And most of the time, I had to get up every 5 minutes and had the great experience of greeting people and making them feel welcome and letting them know that we need more volunteers. And so we did that. At the end of the day, we made a call for more volunteers to help us run the show next year. And a lot of wonderful people stepped up and said, I want to help. I want to help put this together. We have ideas, we've got manpower. So it was really lovely day. Everybody was in it to win it. I mean, it was, it is still our biggest public facing event of the year, besides our appearances at San Diego Comic Con and those big parties that we do. But this is a different vibe because it's so laid back. The whole day had this very peaceful, tranquil energy. Everyone was so laid back. We were in the sloping green hills of Griffith Park in a very Shire-like place. And the weather was extremely cooperative. We had a lovely day, weather-wise. And the food was plentiful. And I did Bilbo's birthday speech straight from the Fellowship of the Ring. That was chaotic, but fun. That was fun. And I've got 3 stickers. Kit, she made some great stickers. Here's your Happy Hobbit Day stickers. We were giving them away to everyone. The winner of the cake contest made these amazing orange spice cupcakes, and everyone had a metal sword, an anduril, stuck right inside every cupcake. It was perfect. It was absolutely delicious. So thank you for these wonderful stickers, my friends. It was really fun. Oh my gosh, what a
that
day.
is fun. That Cliff, there were a ton of Hobbit Day announcements yesterday, which caught me off guard.
Oh, yes. Yes,
And
I'm
and
sure.
and who knew that there would be breaking news
On Hobbit Day.
on a random Monday. Uh, but check this out. Let's see if I can bring this up. Why is Magic the Gathering posting a happy birthday, Mr. Baggins?
Well, because they had one of the most successful moments in the history of the game's franchise when they did Universes Beyond and they did those amazing Lord of the Rings themed magic cards. And I guess they want the audience to still know that they're supporting the game.
Well, according to some tweets I see from Nerd of the Rings, he says, "Guys, I think the Hobbit Magic the Gathering is happening." Cliff,
Oh, really?
these would be new cards, I believe, because
Oh,
the last
wow.
set was only Lord of the Rings
It was
related.
only Lord of the Rings related. That's true. All the artwork and all the characters and all those legendary characters on all those cards, they were all LOTR. So they've expanded their license. Pretty cool. This is a nice surprise. It looks like we're going to get more magic cards.
Would you play the Hobbit Magic more than the Lord of the Rings Magic?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen the cards yet, but probably. And what's even better about Magic the Gathering, it is a customizable game. You can mix. You can mix all these cards from one set or the other. In fact, you can mix the brand new Spider-Man Magic cards with the Lord of the Rings cards. You can mix those too. But hey, if they're going to reach into the vault and get Hobbit names and Hobbit characters and situations, imagine how powerful that dragon, Smaug, is going to be. Imagine how strong that card will be when you play him on the battlefield and it is Smaug the Golden. Just he's going to have keyword flying. He's going to have probably keyword indestructible. He's probably going to have all these keywords that make him a super crazy dragon. And they've had a lot of good dragons in the history of Magic
Well,
the
the thing I
Gathering.
loved
I
about
bet you
Magic,
this one will be
the
special.
Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings cards, was that they took full creative license, and Aragorn was a wonderfully adapted and rendered black character.
Yeah. Oh, that was so
Gandalf
cool.
Gandalf had some Asian facial features and Asian influences in his dress, in
Yeah.
his
They
wizard
did
robe.
some really cool character designs, didn't they? And they brought in a multicultural element, which was refreshing. It was totally refreshing. It was really
So
cool.
I'm fully expecting
Yeah.
the same treatment with the Hobbit. I hope Bard the Bowman is a new, uniquely looking character. There's so many things you can do with the Maester of Lake Town, and there's so many
Maester.
characters.
Maesters appear in Game of Thrones. Not
All
Oh my
right.
gosh.
So
Not in
that
Lord of
was
the Rings or Hobbit.
that was that was just one um announcement that caught everybody off guard. Again, no announcement, it's just a teaser, but everyone is expecting that Hobbit cards are coming for Magic the Gathering. Will they
That's exciting.
be another one of one ring, Cliff? Remember the
Oh
craziness around
gosh.
the one of
Yes.
one magic ring?
That that was a super hyper limited single gold. It was gold printed and foil, gold embossed, foil, the one ring, and it was issued out of millions of cards, only one in existence. And some guy in Canada found it. He pulled it out of a booster pack and bam, sold it for 1 point something million dollars to Post Malone, who is a hardcore Magic fan. And he bought that. It was right away. That was the talk of the town.
Well, that wasn't the only announcement yesterday
Hey,
because
Katie.
Cliff, look at this. Dark Horse, yes, Dark Horse Comics announced
Oh, they
they're
did
a partnership
merchandise
with Middle
with.
Earth Enterprises, and our first
That's right.
adventure will bring you the Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins, and Gollum figures.
From the Rankin and Bass film from 1977.
Look at
Yeah,
that, the
that's
Hobbit
right.
times Middle Earth. So
Hey,
if
have a
we
good night, Paul. Nice
I
to
don't
see
know
you in
where
the show,
this
Paul.
link goes. Look at this. They have the. I guess this is a pre-order. Um, so they announced. Dark Horse announced their Hobbit vinyl figures, but they don't even have placeholders.
What?
For this, Cliff. But you know what? We got
2 million? Okay, Shield Wall Strategy. Thanks for the tip.
you.
I thought it was 1.6 or 1.4 million when that one ring was sold privately to Post Malone. But if it was 2 million, was that Canadian dollars? I mean, wow. That's still a lot of money. And I wonder if they're going to do anything like that with re-releasing
Where did it
super
just
limited
go?
edition Rings of Power.
I just had it on screen. Oh, there it is. There you
What?
go. Since Dark
Oh
Horse
yeah, the
didn't
vinyl
post the
figures?
Dark Horse didn't post the pictures of it, we got you covered. This is from our coverage of San Diego Comic Con back in July.
That's right.
These
We
were
did have a
early
photo of those
maquettes,
vinyl figures.
or early sculpts of this. We believe this is what the final things are going to look like. I mean, Cliff, there you
Okay,
go. You've always
look at that.
wanted
That is so
merch
cool.
from the animated Hobbit movies, including our
Yes, I
exclusive
have.
convention
Yes, I have.
T-shirts. Um,
Mm.
how did these look to you?
It looks great. I love the vinyl figures, whether they're Funko Pop or the new ones that have been coming out from Thrilljoy. I really love these vinyl figures. Uh, Even the really nice ones from Weta. Weta designed the mini epics. So raise your hand in the chat if you'd gotten your hands on any of those mini epics. And I think we're kind of in this wheelhouse. That's what these remind me of. It is amazing that the Japanese animators who created these character designs originally in the 70s are now going to have official licensed merch based upon the Japanese designs. Um, Let me take a second. I will look up the character designer because I had just forgotten how to say his name proper.
Well, there's
Just
so many other posts. Check this out, Cliff. John Howe pop-up edition of The Hobbit. John
oh, a
Howe
pop-up book?
illustrated pop-up book
No
of
way.
The Hobbit. Look at that. Look at
That's so cool.
that. Who's at my door? It's the wizard. Uh, John Howe illustrated Hobbit.
Oh my goodness.
That's so wonderful. Also commemorating Hobbit Day, of course, is our friends at Warner Brothers. Let's see if I scroll down a bit. Where'd it go? 15 hours ago. Oh, those are just retweets.
Oh yes,
22nd.
that would be Mr. Sugiyuki Kubo. That would be Mr. Kubo. His first name Sugiyuki, Japanese animator extraordinaire, and he was the lead character designer on all these amazing Rankin and Bass characters. So thank you. I had to look him up, make sure I got his name right. He was
Uh,
just brilliant. He went on to work on a lot of other interesting things for Rankin and Bass, including the Thundercats,
Well,
and
that's
he did a
fun.
lot of great character designs for them as well. Yeah, everyone loves Thundercats, and most famously, The Last Unicorn. His work on the Peter S. Beagle adaptation, The Last Unicorn, world famous. Absolutely fabulous stuff that he created. Mm.
So
So
wonderful, wonderful posts from our friends at Warner Brothers
yes,
for
that's right.
Hobbit Day. Tales of the Shire. Um, let's see here. The game that just came out recently, Tales of the Shire, posted a bunch of wonderful artworks, including there's wallpapers that you can download now at their website. So if you go to talesoftheshire.com, they put up a bunch of downloadable wallpapers over there. Um, what else?
That's true.
What else happened on Hobbit Day this weekend? Oh, Cliff, check this out. I was
Oh, guess what? It was also the birthday of our good friend who played Sauron in the Lord of the Rings film. That's right. Sala Baker had his birthday yesterday. Yesterday on the 22nd. So it was International Hobbit Day. And around the world, we were also, well, at least I was raising my glass to toast happy birthday to Sala Baker, who had a wonderful birthday yesterday.
Cliff. Check this out. I wanted to ask you. I was perusing HBO Max, and
Oh, yeah. You
they have
showed me that. That's funny.
Superman. That Superman was
Yeah.
just added to HBO Max, the new one, and
Yes.
look at this headline from the Daily Planet. Samwise Gamgee, Lord of the Rings, Daily Planet. So that's the Daily
That's
Planet
so cute.
headline. Is this the first time that Lord of the Rings has been promoted to support DC Comics?
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen that. But why is it listed under the unsung heroes of HBO Max? I would never, ever say that in the same sentence about Samwise. He is highly sung. His praises are always sung. In fact, that's part of the self reflexive commentary that Samwise has, not only in the book, but in the movie as well, where he says, I wonder if they're ever going to say, tell stories about us and our adventure. He is such a truly recognized hero. I wouldn't have put him under unsung heroes, but there he is. It
Well,
is
if
cute
you
to
look at the
see
one
that.
next to it,
It's really
they
cute to see
highlight
that Daily Planet.
Neville
Neville
Longbottom
Longbottom.
from. So he's an unsung hero from Harry Potter.
Yeah, Neville
So
Neville
you
Longbottom
can
is an
see a
unsung
theme.
hero. Yeah,
But yeah, I would agree with you.
yeah,
Samwise is not an unsung hero. He's literally the hero. He's
that's
literally
right.
the hero
He's
of Lord of the
literally the
Rings.
entry point into the story. Our entry point into the story is not with Frodo; it's with Sam, and we follow Sam until the very end. And even when Frodo is gone and takes the boat across the water, J.R.R. Tolkien still keeps the narrative directly with Samwise, right to the very end, where he closes the door of his little hobbit hole and says, "Well, I'm back," and that's the end, because that's it. That's Samwise's story. It's all about Sam. I wrote a big article on theonering.net decades ago called "It's All About Sam," and I put forward in my best writer's voice why I believe that the centerpiece of the story isn't Frodo at all. It's really Samwise. Now, what have you got here? David Wenham? Happy 60th birthday to David Wenham. Oh, not only did Sala Baker have a birthday, but David had one as well. How about that?
He
He
looks good,
doesn't
doesn't
look
he?
he doesn't look his age. He does not look 60 at all. He looks great. I'm going to say the same thing about myself in several years, and I will say, don't I look younger than my age? I'll totally do that. See if I can get away with it. I mean, yeah, I'll try my best. Now, all kidding aside, happy birthday, David Wenham. He good, clean living. He's the best example of good, clean living, and that's why he looks as great as he looks right now at 60. But I do wonder, Like, how old was he when he was cast as Faramir? If he's 60
Well, that
now,
was 25 years ago.
then he
So
must have been
60,
35.
54, 35,
He
35.
must have been 35 years old. Wow. Thanks,
See,
Julia.
your
I love you
career
too.
can just get started whenever.
You know what? That's true. You can start an adventure late in life, like our friend Bilbo started his adventure at 55.
At 50, yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes, indeed.
Um, so that's a big Hobbit date. Now, Cliff, before we move on, can you
Wait, no,
explain
wait, what,
why
okay.
Hobbit Day is the 22nd, but the book is published on the September 21st of 1937?
That's just the way the publishers figured out their stuff. It just happened to be. There's a nice happy accident there, but it's as close as it can possibly be. The publication date is not something that Professor Tolkien had any control over.
He
And
must have.
remember,
There's no way that Bilbo's birthday
no,
is the day after publication date by accident.
what are you going to do? What
By
are you going to
accident,
do?
that is not an accident. Come on, let's be real.
Well, 1937, September 21st, The Hobbit was published. I wonder if Professor Tolkien had even thought about that. What if he? Who
He
knows?
absolutely
I
did, dude. He
but
knew.
but
We knew
but
year
was
in
are
advance
you?
when
But how
when the
isn't?
release date was going to be.
But how? In what world is an unpublished author? And at that point in time, Tolkien was still an unpublished author. But in what world of publishing do you get to be an untried, untested author who hasn't had a successful book out, and you get to badger your publisher about what date you want the book out on the shelves? You
Every
don't get that
author,
power.
every
You know,
author, every
authors do not
author,
have. Since when?
every author.
Since when does an author say, "I want you to publish my
Since the
book on this
history of
date"? On this
publishing,
date.
every single author.
All right,
Yes,
name one.
that's how
Name
it
one.
works.
Herman
All of them.
Melville. Did
Kelly
Herman Melville
Rice,
talk to his publisher and say,
J.R.
"I want
George
my
R.
book
Martin, J.R.R.
published
Tolkien,
on the
J.K.
date that that
Rowling.
white whale
Uh,
was
uh,
destroyed"? What? Are you
oh my
kidding me?
gosh.
Oh my gosh, what?
Let's
Who?
move on.
Wait,
We've got
Harper
so
Lee?
much to
Did
talk
Harper
about
Lee go
with
to her publisher and say,
Vernon
"Well,
Sanders,
I
exits
want
as
you to publish this
MGM
book on the
head
date
of
that Boo Radley was
TV.
taken to
This
court"?
is incredible, huge
No, you don't.
news. This is
You're so funny.
this is the last person that was
I
involved
love it when
with
you get
Rings of
like this.
Power from the start of the show. I remember Jennifer Salke left left Amazon a few months ago.
Yes, she did.
Executives that originally greenlit the show were let go a couple years ago, and so the last executive that was a part of the Rings of Power brain trust at Amazon is out.
That means the only person left at the top who did the green light on Rings of Power would have been Jeff Bezos himself, because the other executives have left their positions from the streamer.
And
Wow.
from what we've heard, although Jeff
Wow.
Bezos is still involved tangentially in the business because it's his money, he has taken a step back from the entertainment division, and he's focused on rockets. And of course, Jeff just got married recently, but he's really focused on competing with Elon Musk in building rockets to rocket space with Blue Origin. Yeah, everybody that greenlit the show is now gone from Amazon, and the person now in charge of all things Amazon Prime is
Yeah.
the head of the NFL rights. The guy that the
really?
executive that brought in
Okay.
basically what Amazon did, what Jeff Bezos did, is that he gave two different people $1 billion to spend on something. And Jennifer Salke spent $1 billion on Rings of Power, and then another guy spent $1 billion on NFL rights. And guess which one is making more money for the company now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's
your
what's
point.
happening. Vernon Sanders was, from what we've heard, Vernon Sanders is the last executive that was really a champion of McPain and kind of protected them.
Oh,
from
indeed.
anything. So I don't know. There you go.
The executive shuffle continues.
The executive shuffle continues.
Yep, indeed. That's exactly what it is. And
Um,
all of this kind of burns my brain a little bit. I don't understand how, I don't know, how can you be an executive and be at this high position in a big corporation, and then suddenly you're just like, okay, I'm gone. I'm going to go do something else. It's like, uh,
what do you do?
well, I mean, it's hard to grasp the concept of, um, job security in this context because there is no job security there at this corporate level. It's really interesting to me. Yeah.
So
Anonymous girl says
again,
they're
we're
cleaning house. Hmm.
yeah, and listen, Cliff. We're keeping you guys up to date on the movements of Amazon executives because
Hmm.
we all have been around this business long enough, and we know what happens when certain executives leave and their projects get changed, get adjusted somehow.
Oh gosh, that's true
And
because
it
the people who were originally there aren't there to protect it anymore. So
yeah,
things do get changed. That happened a lot at the Disney studios as well
it's
at a
happened at
certain
every
point in time
studio. So
in the animation studio.
you know,
Yes.
some people in the chat room are like, is
Oh
McPain
yes.
next? Are the showrunners next? Could they be out or replaced? We don't know. No, we have not heard anything hinting that anyone is unhappy at Amazon with their performance. But with new leadership, we do know we did report a few weeks ago that Amazon has replaced the head of production in London. So the guy that's running the studio facilities in London is new, and he's taking a complete new approach, and he's reviewing everything that's shooting, including Rings of Power.
Right.
Uh, and we and another thing to report this week is Jamie Campbell Bower has canceled more convention appearances because his schedule has changed with Rings of Power. So they are doing a
Oh.
lot more reshoots with Jamie
Oh.
Campbell Bower now. So
Okay.
let's
Okay.
just
That's
back up.
interesting.
So 6 months ago, Jennifer Salke, head of the studio, is out. She helped put the Rings of Power deal together. Uh, a month ago, Amazon sends a new head of production to run the London studio,
Hmm.
and then this last week, Vernon
Hmm.
Sanders is out as the head of TV.
Oh, I see.
And at the same time, as we speak, reshoots are happening, and actors are canceling their convention appearances because they're
Hmm.
suddenly booked for time that they thought they had off.
That means reshoots, right?
That means intense
Yeah.
reshoots that go into the
Yeah, I'm
weekends
sure.
because conventions only happen on the weekends. So intense reshoots means they are shooting 6 days a week or more. That means they're
Wow.
reshooting a lot of stuff. So I'm just reading between the lines,
Okay.
Cliff, that there's a
Mm,
lot of
that's reasonable.
reshoots. There's a lot of
Yeah,
reshoots happening, and
that's
there's new
reasonable.
leadership in charge at Amazon. So the question I have for you, Cliff, you've been around this industry. Do you think the new leadership at Amazon has reviewed the season 3 footage and made some decisions that things need to be changed?
I say that's as likely as anything else. That is definitely likely. And
Dan,
what other explanation do you have?
Well,
Because
Dan
he
Bites
did
in the
have
chat
his
room
weekends
says getting
open.
rid of McPain halfway through the show would be silly. Funny you say that because that's what happened on season 2. The writer's strike happened halfway through production. So McPain walked off the show halfway through production of season 2. They were
Wow.
gone. And it was reported by Fellowship of Fans and mainstream press that there were some heavy disagreements in the post-production room and the editing room, everything like that, because without the showrunners there to actually show run the show and make the decisions, no one was in charge. So crazier
Hmm.
things have happened. Look, season 2, they lost their showrunners halfway through season 2. Would
Mm,
so that just goes to show that they could lose their showrunners and still have a better season, because everyone will agree that season 2 was better than season 1.
it was. Season 2 was an improvement.
So the fact that they have new leadership in charge at Amazon, they've obviously rescheduled a bunch of actors for intense reshoots, and season 2 they lost their showrunners halfway through. It's not too much to think their jobs might be on the line now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious.
I
Well,
don't
I
know.
wonder. We don't know. No, we cannot say anything at this point, ladies and gentlemen, but this is rather broad speculation. We do not know, but I see how you're trying to connect these dots here. How about uh how about we tell the people what we learned about the German syndication of the show?
Well, that's that. There's two
Because that's
spoilers about
big
to happen.
news.
We're gonna get into spoiler talk now.
A real spoiler, because that is a speculation about the showrunners, not, having not been there
Well,
for the
all right.
strike.
Before we
And
get
that
it,
was true. They did step aside from the strike, but would they step aside again for whatever reason? I don't know. What impetus could cause that to happen?
did I text
Hmm.
you the German information?
No, you spoke to me in person about it at the picnic when we were having lunch.
Uh, that's right.
Yes, you told me.
Oh, okay.
And
Here
I
it is.
thought that's pretty wild.
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh my gosh,
All right. So
you've got to
we
show this. All right,
reported
guys.
earlier this year. Uh,
Okay.
we reported earlier this year that
Yes.
Amazon is putting Rings of Power into syndication. Cliff, tell people
In
what syndication means.
Syndication is when you purchase a television distributor, or a television news station, or a local affiliate, whatever you're going to call it. There's a television market, and they want a certain show to be available, and they want it to be broadcast on their market within their country, and that might usually include having a German language localization or
It's not just Germany.
subtitles.
Any country in the
But
world
in any country,
can
but
syndicate
this
Rings of Power. So the
true
basically
any
what
country, but we happen to
basically
be
a
talking about
regular
Germany today.
TV or cable channel anywhere in the world can show
Yes,
Rings of Power now. They can
if they pay for it.
if they pay for it.
It's
That's the syndication.
That
It's
means the
not just
show is no
available
longer
on Amazon Prime.
exclusively exactly what I was about to say. It's
There you
no
go.
longer stuck in the world of exclusivity on that streaming platform. It's now being broadcast across the whole country in the whole market. In that whole market that television network has coverage for, and everybody within that region or that part of the country can actually watch it without having to be a subscriber to Prime Video. So this syndication means that Rings of Power is now syndicated to be shown in
To be shown on regular television channels. So
regular television
here's the
channel
thing. Here's the thing,
in
Cliff. I
Germany
want to
in this case.
so when it comes to syndication,
Yes.
not only do you get the rights to show the movie, but when you advertise that you're showing the show, uh,
Oh, yes.
there are rules. You have to run everything by the
Yes.
studio, right?
That's true.
You can't just say Rings of Power starring Ian McKellen. That would be wrong. That would be lying to your audience. That would be lying about the show, right? You just cannot say
Yes.
wrong stuff, right? So
Correct. It has to
especially
be correct stuff that you
it has to
announce
be
for the
correct.
show.
And so
Yes.
when you first begin a relationship as a syndication channel, you run everything by the studio Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm. Because
So
you cut the deal with them.
we're
You cut
here
the
at
deal with them, and they're going to give you the green light on things you want to say
so this is a
to
lot of preface.
publicize.
This is a
Yeah.
lot of preface to say that here's the news. Spoiler
Spoiler
alert.
is huge. Huge spoiler,
So
everybody.
this German
Huge.
channel, ZDF.de, has is getting the first 2 seasons. They're going to be showing it on TV starting Thursday, October 30th, and all
Wow.
episodes streaming on their on their streaming network, and it will be on television Monday, November 3rd at 8:15. Fantastic, right? Um,
Right. Yes.
and so This is your typical thing
Okay, here we go.
of all the details, and you can tell this is copy and pasted from a corporate document, right? This is the staff of the
Yes.
book. And by the way, this is a Google Translate, so uh uh we're just doing about that. Roles and performers: Galadriel's Morpeth Clark, Half Rim Sarn.
Wow.
Again, this is a Google translation of a German page. They did not misspell Halbrand. Um, so we get down to Rings of Power continues the cinematic success around Tolkien's work. Um,
Yes.
uh, and and here we are among the best known actors operating within the
It's changed.
extensive cast are Peter Milan as the Dwarf King Durin and Kieran Hines as a dark wizard. It's
Okay.
changed. Oh, they
They've
changed
changed
it
it.
today.
They changed it. It's not what it was before. Oh my gosh, you guys, we were building this up. It was such a huge spoiler. It was a huge spoiler, but they've changed it. They changed it. Do you know what
I
it used to say? Can we tell them? Can we tell the people?
Let's bring it
We
up
need to
on
tell the
screen.
people.
I screenshotted it last week. Let's bring it up full screen,
Ah,
Cliff.
I'm glad you did that. That's the original. Okay. Before they
Kieran
changed it.
Hines plays
Ah,
Saruman in a film
somebody.
role originally played by Dracula himself, Christopher Lee.
Saruman. Oh my gosh, they admitted it out loud that that character's name was Saruman in season 2, but they've
Again,
changed it, and that means somebody got chewed out. Somebody got in trouble for revealing their little mystery box, and they changed it. Oh my gosh. And I wanted to spend at least 15 minutes complaining about mystery boxing on the Rings of Power. I really wanted to lay it in, but they caught it.
all
They
right, all
caught it.
right.
They changed it.
So Cliff, I think they didn't change it because it was inaccurate. They changed it because Amazon didn't want it spoiled.
That's right. And that's why we're spoiling it now. That's what we do here at the OneRing.net. Spoilers.
So
But
again,
here's what's
if you're
funny.
a brand
Everyone
new
everyone was arguing
syndication
about
company,
it. They're
if you're a
like,
major television network in any country, if you're a major television network in Germany, and you've just got the most expensive TV show ever made, Rings of Power, in the Lord of the Rings franchise, you make sure that all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, your umlauts are up, and you make sure that your accurate
umlauts.
your information is correct. I'm telling you that this is not
Gosh,
a
that's
rogue
funny.
post, Cliff. Do you agree that when they first posted this,
Not a
this
rogue
was
post.
approved by multiple people?
Yes, it was approved by multiple people on down a long, I would say a rather long hierarchy of people approved it. And then somebody above them approved it. And somebody above them approved it. So it was in the German marketing materials as Saruman, previously played by Dracula star Christopher Lee. Now, this begs the question of why is Saruman there in the second age? Why are the showrunners doing this? And why are they
go off,
making this
Cliff.
character
Go
out
off.
to be so?
I want you to say what you told me on Sunday when I told you the news.
Oh gosh, do I remember what I said to you on Sunday?
You said that there are no wizards in the second age, so everything is everything's already off the rails.
Yeah. I mean, none of the wizards, none of the 5 Istari bother to show up. They're not sent by the Valar until the third age, and that's when they appear in the book. So now we have not just one character, the Grand Elf. Not only do we have the Grand Elf as
Well,
a
okay, this
character
is a good question from the chat.
who was mystery boxed for
Cliff,
2 seasons.
Answer this, Cliff, from Imran in the chat. Why have they made him a nefarious character so early on?
Because they don't know what they're doing with the character. He was not an evil, nefarious, controlling, manipulative, evil bastard. Saruman was not that. When Saruman first appeared on the shores of Middle-earth, he got a little bit jealous of Gandalf, a little jelly, because Círdan gave the Ring of Fire, Narya, to Gandalf. And Saruman was like, why are you giving that to Gandalf? But he wasn't evil. the corruption within the spirit of Saruman, the corruption within the heart of Saruman, is something that even Peter Jackson struggled to properly show, because in the Fellowship of the Ring, when we first see Christopher Lee is already as corrupt as he's going to get, and it happens so early in the Fellowship movie that people were just like, what? Why was Gandalf even going to talk to that guy ever in the first place? And there was no context. Until 10 years later, when the Hobbit films came out, then there was context that Saruman was the head
All right,
guy. You
listen,
know,
listen.
really.
Dan
Why,
says the problem is more so why is he evil, but then become good, then become evil again. Just bizarre.
yeah,
Um,
it is bizarre. It's
well,
nuts.
okay.
If this
Can
character
I
really is Saruman, then it makes no sense to me
can I
the way they're
counterpoint
presenting
you?
him.
Can I counterpoint? Because
I don't get it.
I at all
I
times
don't
I
get it.
am trying to take the logic of the show on its own terms.
Okay, yes, and we'll call that in-world logic
In
within
world
the show's
logic.
own world. Okay.
So I'm okay with Saruman being evil from the start. Why should he be good in the first place? He was never good at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and he was kind of questionably
You know
not
better.
good in The Hobbit. And we do know that this show is a prequel to the movies more so than an adaptation of the books, right? This is a prequel to the movies. Let's just give that off the thing. This isn't a unique adaptation that lives in its own vertical in the world. This isn't like the Magic the Gathering cards, which is its own thing separate from the movies. This show, Rings of Power, is meant to be a prequel to the movies. Do you agree with that, Cliff?
Yeah, because look at how they've set it up to be that. Even using
Sure.
the same
Okay.
same
So
Balrog design. Yes.
in
Yeah.
that logic,
Yes.
Peter Jackson never introduces Saruman as someone that's wholly good.
Yes, he does in the Hobbit films. Yes,
I
he
know.
does.
No, he's still kind of like creepy evil. He says, "Leave
No, he's not.
Sauron to me," like as if not in a "I got this" guy. It's like it's kind of menacing the way he says it because he's Christopher Lee. But you know,
And Christopher Lee delivered that line like that because you're supposed to feel the undercurrent of something changing. That's right, something changing. Here's where Peter Jackson failed. And a lot of people in the chat have already pointed this out. Peter Jackson debatably, very debatably, showed something useful in Saruman as a good guy, but he's overly controlling. We know he's overly controlling because of the way of things happen in the first Hobbit movie when they have the meeting of the White Council. And also, B, we know that Gandalf has very little patience. He's overbearing. Saruman being over controlling, micromanaging. Gandalf doesn't like the micromanaging style of Saruman. And that's about it. That's the only meat and potatoes we get of the longer story arc. Peter Jackson does not usefully or successfully, in my mind, really give the whole story arc. And now, as people in our live chat have pointed out, they've completely muddied the waters
let
in
me
the
ask
Rings
you
of
this,
Power
Cliff.
storyline. They have
You
muddied the
you
waters.
you are
And
you
I
are
don't know why
being
you say, I
informed
don't know why
by
you said,
all
Justin,
of the.
wait a second. I don't know why you said you're okay with Saruman being evil from the beginning, because that just eradicates everything that Tolkien
What
wanted to write.
everything? No, they don't
By
have
you
rights to
saying it's
everything
okay
Tolkien right.
for
Let's back
Saruman
up.
to be evil up
What
front, it
rights does
removes the
McPain
need,
have?
it removes the necessity of that story arc to happen where temptation and the power lust to get his own rings, to face himself against the Dark Lord Sauron, Saruman the wizard, changing himself from Saruman the White to Saruman of many colors in an absolute act of defiance against the
First off,
Valar
we never
and
got.
their edict.
Here's the thing:
Oh,
we never got
come on.
Saruman of many colors in the movies.
Because, as I said, Peter Jackson debatably did not really show the story arc of Saruman.
I agree.
Even though he tried to remedy that with The Hobbit. He did try to remedy that.
So come with me on this journey of logic.
Okay.
McPain are operating with very limited rights when it comes to when it comes to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. We know that's the rights that they have to play with, The Hobbit and Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings, right? And
Yes.
they're
Yes.
expanding on that in limited capacity, but they have some rules. So wouldn't you be okay with if Peter Jackson didn't show Saruman in many colors? Isn't it okay if McPain plays with the idea of Saruman of many colors right now?
No, because as I've said, and I'm just repeating myself, and you can come at this from different directions all you want, Justin, but them doing it this way, and you saying it is easily accepted that Saruman would be a bad guy from the get-go, you have ruined anything that Tolkien wanted to say about a person in a great position
How
of power who makes a fall from grace.
uh,
Let's look at the fall from grace. Who's
this does
who's the
not
biggest
sound like a
guy?
Simon Tolkien decision. Wait,
Who
no,
is the
yes,
biggest? Who
you
is
know what?
who is?
I don't know. We don't know
I got
if
to
it's
ask you
Simon.
guys this: who is in the Rings of Power in world within the logic of that universe within the show? Who is the character that makes the biggest fall from grace? Sauron. That's it. That's the story. And we've talked about it until I'm blue in the face. If Sauron slash Halbrand was really going to have a redemption arc, it would have looked different than what we got. And his attempt at having any redemption arc didn't even pass muster. It didn't really happen. He went straight to being evil
Monica?
as soon as he stopped being a
She's-
bubbling mass of goo, and he went from being Guron, and he was no longer a bubbling mass of protoplasm lying on the
Wh-
ground for thousands of
why
years.
aren't you?
But as soon as Sauron got a chance, he
I'm
got a human
okay
form
with
again.
evil
He went
Saruman.
straight to being evil. So that
But
ruined
let
the
me ask you this,
possibility
Cliff.
of
S-
a
The
redemption story arc.
the minute Kieran Hines showed up on screen,
Yeah,
he obviously looked like Saruman. He's obviously Saruman.
pretty
Didn't
close.
you
Yeah,
think? I know you
pretty
didn't
close.
want him to be, but didn't
Hmm.
you think when you saw him on screen? Oh yeah, it's obvious who he
I
is.
did. And I also thought about why they mystery boxed him, and his name listed in the credits was a generic phrase, dark wizard, total generic phrase. And this German uh, marketing material has now been changed from Saruman to dark wizard. So you know what? The reason why they mystery boxed him and didn't really introduce him as Saruman is because they knew it'd piss people off. They knew that it would alienate the fans.
No, it
They
wouldn't
knew
have.
that they were
I
breaking
no.
canon.
The
They were
fans would have been
breaking
on board if they
canon.
would just make a decision. The mystery boxing is what's
No,
alienating fans, not making bad decisions. It's the mystery boxing that's alienating. If they would just commit and say, this is Saruman, you guys can hem and haw for an hour, but then you're on board and like, let's have fun with Saruman. Cool. Okay, that's
not
Saruman.
no. To have an important character who's not even supposed to be there in the second age, and instead of using the second age wandering to the farthest edges of the map, instead of giving us blue wizards, they're going to bring in Saruman and make him evil from the beginning so that he has no needful story arc at all. The
Not
second
every
the
character needs a story arc. Oh my gosh. The other
Yes,
reason
they
I think this
do.
is
Oh,
Saruman.
that's why you don't work in a television writer's room. If you're going to say that every character doesn't need an arc, then you're not going to get hired to work in a writer's room.
Oh my God,
Every
just give
character
me a
needs an arc.
just let me
Oh
have
my
a
gosh.
character that's completely played straight.
No.
Just
Uh,
not
I
every
can't
character.
I can't let this
There's
go.
25 characters in the show. Not all of them need an arc from good to bad to good again. They not like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
exhausting. All right.
Yeah, but you're
The
looking at a
second
character that will
the,
outlast this story.
the
There's a
second
Saruman
reason,
character
the
who's on
second
stage.
main reason that I knew he was Saruman from the get-go, Cliff. Follow me on this. What does Saruman do in the two towers? No, what
in
does
the
Saruman do?
live chat.
Oh my God!
What does
Follow me.
Saruman do in the Two Towers?
No. Fellowship of the Ring. What does Saruman do in Fellowship of the Ring?
He greets Gandalf at the front steps of
And
the
then,
Tower of Orthanc,
and then,
and
but
then they
he,
walk. Then they walk through the orchards within
yeah.
the Ring of
The point
Isengard,
I'm getting
and they have a
to is
conversation. That's what happens first.
he creates Urukai, does he not? He births them. They're in their little sack Remember when the Uruk-hai
Uh-huh.
break through the sack and the other
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
other
but they show
goblin
that.
is like, checking him, and then it's like, whom do you serve, right? And the
Yeah.
Uruk-hai's
But
first
but
words
that's
are
all a lot
Saruman.
later. What they show early is that Gandalf made a mistake in trusting him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah. But
first
but
big
but but
story point that
let
Peter
me stay
Jackson
on
bothers with.
let me stay
Gandalf
on
made a
Uruk.
mistake in trusting this guy. That's the big story at that point, right?
The reason I think the guy in Rings of Power is Saruman, not just because it's confirmed,
Yeah. Yeah.
is in Fellowship of the Ring, Saruman is playing with what's the word I'm thinking of? Genetics. He's playing with crossbreeding,
Eugenics. Yeah,
eugenics.
eugenics.
Okay.
Yeah, he is.
This would explain why those guys that serve the wizard in Rings of Power have masks. He's playing eugenics early on. This is his first,
Maybe.
those guys with masks are his first
Maybe.
attempt at Uruk-hai eugenics.
It's still a bad idea because
You want a
Saruman.
story arc? There you go. There you go.
No,
He's starting
Saruman.
eugenics now, and then it ends in Fellowship of the Ring when he
Bad idea.
perfects it.
This is
Bad
this is a
idea? Good
it's a
idea.
poor
Keep
choice.
it up. Nope. I
It's a
liked it.
poor choice.
I
It's a
liked it.
poor choice to have
They should
Saruman be an
show
evil
the
character
process.
from the get-go because he never was that. Wait, Justin, I know that you, as people in the live chat have pointed out, you have unapologetically not read the books, but let's stay within the logic of the show on its own
A
terms.
prequel of the
On its
movies.
own terms,
Carry on.
let's stay within the logic of the show. Why would the gods and goddesses of the Valar, the angelic beings in Valinor, why would they send an evil shit to Middle Earth to be their emissary? Answer me that.
You really want to know my reason? I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. Because the theory is when we saw the comet at season 1, episode 1, it wasn't just one comet; it was 5 comets. So all 5 wizards. And I believe that at that time,
interesting theory.
and I
That is
believe
an
at that
interesting
time,
theory.
remember Eru and the Valar send the wizards, the powerful beings, the Maiar, to Middle Earth to balance. All it is a balance. They want to balance good and bad, good and evil in Middle Earth. So one does not overpower the other. I believe that Halbrand was the good guy. Halbrand was on his road to redemption when the meteors fell to Earth, and Saruman was the bad guy that was meant to balance good Halbrand at the time. Thank you very much.
Okay. File that under ridiculous. Sorry. File that under ridiculous. Sorry.
The masked men
The
were not
Maiar?
orcs, though. But if you remember in Fellowship of the Ring, Saruman says, "Do you remember how orcs were created? They were once elves, right?"
Okay.
That's what he says in Fellowship of the Ring. So
Now,
I believe the masked men are his first attempt at eugenics. Maybe with men, maybe with elves, maybe men and elves, maybe some goblins involved. I believe those masked men are his first attempts at creating a super creature, Superman, basically.
I thought that they were suffering from what would be recognizably like, a plague, and they were people who suffered from, a disfigurement from this horrible contagion that they had.
What
Whether or not
contagion? And where is it being affected? And why don't we see that
we
in the
don't
show?
know.
Anyway,
They didn't tell us enough. They didn't tell us
Cliff,
enough about it.
okay, so
Isn't it weird?
so
I think it's a really bad idea that the Saruman character should be there at all. And truly, in an interview with Nerd of the Rings, the showrunners pretty much admitted, thank you, live chat, for confirming that, but Nerd of the Rings was told by the showrunners that the Blue Wizards are pretty much confirmed and they're going to show up in Rings of Power at some point
we
in time.
cannot trust anything the showrunners say ever because they'll say anything during marketing. Anything.
True.
You
Maybe
know?
true. Yeah,
it's not maybe true. It is true. We can't trust
Okay.
anything they say during marketing because they just want to tell the fans what they want to hear and make sure you tune in. The mystery boxes have to stop. If you know that some fans
I agree
are
with
going to
that.
be offended that was Saruman, then you need to just let those fans rage, but let the rest of us have a good time with him. Okay? This mystery boxing has to stop. The question I have for you, Cliff, is if you are the new head of Rings of Power, if you are the new executive in charge of production, you've taken
Mhm.
over from Vernon Sanders and Jennifer Salke, and you're reviewing the footage of season 3, and you're looking at the online conversation about
Yes.
this wizard.
Okay.
What do you do? Do you do you carefully review whether these showrunners are up to snuff? Because no one is happy about the Dark Wizard. No one's happy that either he's not named, and no one's happy that he's Saruman.
Indeed. He shouldn't be
Is there
Saruman. He,
anyone happy with Dark Wizard?
if he is Saruman, then we should be seeing Saruman in the same way we see Gandalf, a good guy, a really
And why did
good
we have
guy
to
who
wait 2
has.
seasons to meet Gandalf?
Yeah, exactly. Why was all that mystery boxing necessary? It wasn't. It
So,
wasn't.
do you think they need to name this wizard in episode 1 of season 3? Just get it off the table?
Sure.
Or do you
He
think
had
they
many
wait
names.
until the final episode like they did this season, and it's the last episode where the big wizard
Just
name is revealed?
only if they want to piss more people off.
Ah,
Okay? Only if they want to upset more fans. Because none of that mystery boxing needs to happen at all. Um, People in the chat wonder if the German information from this television station that got the syndication rights to broadcast the show, is it possible that they got it wrong? Is it possible that
as we
this,
explained at the
the
top of this segment, we do
at
not
all? Is it
believe
at all
that it's
possible?
wrong because it went through many, many layers of approvals before anything gets published. And the
Yes.
thing we know about not just Amazon Prime, but any television network with a huge franchise, every single piece of copy and every piece of art is carefully reviewed by many people.
Mm,
So
mm.
we trust that this was accurate information that was approved. And we trust that now that it's changed a few days later, that someone got yelled at for leaking something.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's
Cliff, I'm not
incredibly
done.
likely.
And by the way, this isn't even the most controversial Green Dragon gossip we have today.
Oh
We're not
gosh.
done
Oh
yet.
gosh. Okay.
So if
Okay. Wow.
let's go on to our spoiler number 2. This is huge, Cliff. Huge,
Okay.
Cliff.
Oh my goodness.
According to call sheets from the set and his official agent's website,
Wow.
Charles Edwards is confirmed to be coming back as Celebrimbor in Rings of Power Season 3. This is confirmed by 2 separate sources that are publicly available, and this confirms reports that we heard many months ago from people on set that we cannot name, that Charles Edwards and Celebrimbor are playing a major role. And need I remind you that they are doing heavy reshoots right now as well. So
Mm.
that's the second big
Flashbacks.
news after confirming
Flashbacks.
Saruman.
That
Uh,
means they'll be filming some kind of flashback where maybe Morpeth Clark is going in her mind and remembering
well,
something that Celebrimbor said to her once in the past.
I
That's
don't
what this
agree.
is.
I think he plays a major role going forward. I think he's going to be kind of like a Jedi Force ghost that is speaking to the living from the dark realm, the shadow realm,
Oh
where
gosh,
the
I don't know about
Nazgul
that.
lived.
No, I think they're just going to have standard flashbacks where somebody remembers something important that was told to them.
Well, Cliff,
Uh,
it
yes.
has been done before. Look at this, Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, in,
It,
in a very controversial way, it was done in the video game Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Yes, it's true.
So Shadow of Mordor already did it. We have confirmation that Charles Edwards is on set for season 3 of Rings of Power. So Cliff, I'm okay with this. In fact, I've been a big proponent of this over the last year. You and I
Yes, you
have
have.
argued over it. Can you just succinctly remind people why you don't like Force Ghost Brimby continuing on the narrative of the show.
Because that's not the way that spirituality and death of the elves works in the system that Tolkien wrote. That's a cockamamie idea. Totally fine for a video game if you want to do something cockamamie in a video game, but in Middle Earth, when an elf perishes, their spirit will go to the halls of Mandos, where they wait, and they will wait there until the ends of the circles of the world, where they are brought back, probably. And you know, it's just totally not like, it's not at all part of the mythology that Tolkien wrote. It's not part of the spiritual system. It doesn't work. It is not applicable. It's not workable. It was wrong when the video game people did it, and that's why there was
Well, his
controversy.
death was not the same as in the books. If he was truly dead, they would have done the Celebrimbor banner. They would have they would have gone full Game of Thrones and done something very violent, and that completely erases Celebrimbor from the table. But the fact that the show did not do the banner means that he's probably still in play.
They just stuck his body up at the top of the pike, and on top of that column, and he was dead, and that's it. And they didn't shove his body on top of, you know, halberds or spears
He
to
doesn't
be
know.
marched around the battlefield, because that's what Sauron did. He marched the body around the battlefield to destroy the morale of the elves. Okay, what are you playing now? What do you got here?
I
House of
don't know.
R?
Wow. This Amazon podcast player is absolutely atrocious. There's no way of making it full frame in the browser window.
Oh, that's too bad.
So let's Rings of Power. So this is Mallory Rubin and our friend Joanna Robinson from House of R talking with the showrunners, and they asked them about whether Celebrimbor will have an ongoing role. Let's I wish I could.
Interesting question. Why is the dead guy, who is really most sincerely dead, why is he gonna have a recurring role if he's dead? And that could be just flashbacks, if anything.
Peaking characters who you were able to strike this creative and chemistry gold with in a certain circumstance and then put them in a new circumstance. So like, in the particular sense with certain examples, but also more broadly, like how energizing is that for you both as creators to know that you're crafting stories for new scene partners like Charles and Charlie, and that's something you get to like have in your minds as you're putting them each in their season 1 circumstances and know you're building toward, because it's not only a new dynamic for the characters, it's also a new dynamic for the performers, and you could just feel like that energy crackling off of the screen. And we're like in mourning right now.
We're so sad.
We were talking earlier about whether Celebrimbor can be like a ghost who haunts us and everybody else for years to come. We're not ready to say goodbye, but
we're not taking the bait on that one.
Oh, interesting. Okay, exciting. Great. Wonderful. We were going to carve our own little tree, like right next to Finn.
Let's roll that back. The girls are not even asking a question, but watch their faces. Watch the faces of McPain when
I just saw that
when they mention the idea of Brimby continuing on.
That line, the flagpole, the flowery tongue flagpole, that was Owen.
Yeah. Wonderful. We were going to carve our own little tree, like right next to Finrod's. But
yeah.
The tail definitionally, like you mentioned maps earlier, and the tail definitionally necessitates.
Hold on.
Yes, you did. But
Then you get to like have in your minds as you're putting them each in their season 1 circumstances and know
Watch
you're
their
building
faces.
towards.
All
It's
right.
not only a new dynamic
Watch
for the characters,
McPain's
it's also a new
faces.
dynamic for the performers, and you could just feel like that energy crackling off of the screen. And we're like in mourning right now.
We're so sad.
We were talking earlier about whether Celebrimbor can be like a ghost who haunts us and everybody else for years to come. We're not ready to say goodbye, but
we're not taking the bait on that one.
Look at that eye roll, Cliff. Did you clock that eye roll?
I sure did. I clocked it and I saw it.
Let's see.
And,
Let's see it again. Let me see if I can get that
Gives you
pause.
endless different
No, no,
combinations.
it's okay. We don't need to hear it a third time.
You know,
It's okay. We
BBQ.
got it.
All right,
we got it. We saw it. We got that. Anybody who's watching our YouTube will be able to rewind and see exactly.
I'm gonna put the link into the chat. It's 3 hours and 9 minutes in. But look
Okay.
at that.
So
It wasn't even a question, Cliff, and it was a throwaway joke that they weren't even landing on. But you saw McPain roll their eyes like, "Oh, I've been caught."
yeah,
Cliff,
indeed, that is exactly what it looks like.
Celebrimbor is coming back, baby.
Okay. But that doesn't in any way indicate that it's going to be done in Star Wars style. It doesn't point any indicators towards it being a Force ghost. It doesn't change the basic logic of visual storytelling in a televised medium where you use flashbacks
Sure. Okay.
to get the convenience of going back and talking to someone who's dead. What do when you want to talk to a character that you've killed off? Well, you have memories.
Well,
and
let's
then you
go
let
to
the camera,
this
let the
separate
camera
IGN.
rest.
Let's go
You
to the
let the
separate
camera
IGN that says, "I think
rest
we can
on
only
Morpeth
reflect on
Clark
what the
and
show
let her
has
just think
shown
a
us
minute,
so far."
and suddenly there'll
which
be a
is that
flashback.
Sauron needs Celebrimbor.
That's all
so
they gotta
how
do.
does Sauron then forge a ring on his own? That's a big question worthy of lots of dramatic exploration. McKay explains with one of the cheekiest grins of all time. Cliff, I want you to read that aloud to the class.
I don't want to read that aloud. I'm just getting
Please.
pissed off at this
No,
point.
just
I'm just getting upset.
because this is a separate interview.
This is
a
okay.
separate interview. I need you to
Okay.
read that aloud.
Okay. I will humor you this one time. I do not approve. Before I read this, I want you to know that I don't approve of any of this. And if what you're trying to set up is that they're
We
going to
know
do,
you're not on board, so just read the damn text.
if they're gonna do it the way they did it in the video game, then
just read
whatever.
it.
They're just
Just read it.
copying. Then they're copying a
We
bad
know
idea
that
that
you're
happened
not
in the
on
video
board. I
game.
need you to hear it.
I think we can only reflect on what the show has shown us so far. That's a good way to evade the question, which is that Sauron needs Celebrimbor. So, how does Sauron then forge a ring on his own? That's a big question, worthy of lots of dramatic exploration. McKay explains with, perhaps, one of the cheekiest grins of all time. So, I've read it. It's not any more satisfactory now that you've read it. It's not any more satisfactory now that I've read it. File this under bad idea. If you're going to have a Force ghost of Celebrimbor, then you're just copying a controversial idea from the video game company. And what you end up with is...
What about this line from the show?
Another-
there are
well, it's
ways
another
of
big-
keeping you alive. Must I show you my mastery of that craft as well? What do you make of that line in the actual show?
Okay. Are they going to cheapen his death? Are they going to cheapen his death that much? So
What
that
does
big...
this line mean, Cliff?
I'm going to finish my sentence. You asked me a question. Are you going to let me finish my sentence?
All right, I'm sorry.
And I'm getting positively angry right now, and I don't know why really, but you keep pushing this like it's a great idea. It's a great idea, and I'm like, no, this is a really bad idea. Why? Because again, they're flouting in everyone's face. They're violating the metaphysics of this world that Tolkien meticulously built. If it's true that Celebrimbor comes back as a Force ghost, if he comes back as anything, a shade, a specter, a spirit, if Celebrimbor comes back in any way whatsoever, if it's not just simple simple, dramatic flashbacks to somebody remembering when he was alive, then it is a bad, bad, bad idea. Bad for the show, bad for the fandom, going to piss off a lot of people because, again, it shows that they're working so hard to violate and flout the metaphysics of how an elf will die and where their spirit goes when the elf dies. It's a bad idea. Riddle, riddle. What was Sauron called in The Hobbit?
The necromancer.
The necromancer.
Okay.
Perhaps the Barrow-wights in the show were more than just a passing intrigue after all. So they were misplaced because the Barrow-wights weren't really there in the Second Age because there was no northern kingdom of Cardolan and Rhudaur and Arthedain where the Barrow-wights would have come
Your lore is getting in the way of a good show.
Wrong.
I'm okay with the Barrow-wights. Anyway, continue.
So, could that be how Sauron completes his One Ring? Bringing Celebrimbor back, or more precisely, a white shell of Celebrimbor to extract the crucial information to complete the One through his craft of necromancy? Oh, so now you're suggesting that it's not going to be a Force ghost, but it's going to be a zombie. There's going to be zombie Celebrimbor? Okay. I don't like any of this. I don't like any of this at all. At all.
What should the new boss of Amazon do right now if you were him and you were taking over production? What would you suggest the head of Amazon do right now while season 3 of Rings of Power is in the middle of production?
Something other than what you're speculating. Definitely something different than what is being speculated upon.
We've seen it in their face.
Something different.
We've seen it in the interview with IGN. And the fans are speculating hard and they're putting the pieces together. Again, this line in season 2, episode 8, Sauron says, "There are ways of keeping you alive. Must I show you my mastery of that craft as well?"
Okay, I don't like it. Yeah, I guess the indicators are there. If you want to look at it that way, the indicators are there. But, yeah, that's funny. Zap Verisapa says, brains, brains, brains. Imagine Celebrimbor jumping out, doing a jump scare against Morpeth Clark and screaming at her, brains. Can you imagine? That's very funny. I don't know. This is nuts.
So, Cliff,
this is all nuts to me.
How is this season shaping up? You've got possibly JCB as Celeborn. You've got the Dark Wizard is Saruman. The Gandalf is Gandalf. And Celebrimbor's coming back as a Barrow-wight. So Sauron can extract the crucial piece of information so that the One Ring can be created, which we can confirm is being created this season.
You know what I need right now? I need a time machine so I can go back to 1986 so I can get a Valium. I need a Valium right now. And I need a time machine to do it, I'm afraid. Okay,
according to some, all you need is Tylenol.
All right. Oh, yeah. Ha ha. Funny. I see what you did there. That's very funny. Okay.
Like a Middle-earth version of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
You know what the show needs? The show needs to recalibrate its approach to the metaphysics of this world, especially in regard to Numenor and how the men of Numenor are at spiritual risk. There is a lot to be done in terms of corruption and corrupting and persuading the hearts of the Numenorian men to go the way of Sauron, to go the way of Morgoth worship, to have Elendil's daughter actually build, because she's in the Architects Guild, whatever she's doing, she's going to end up building the Temple of Morgoth. If you get the show derailed with getting the metaphysics of a dead elf and getting it wrong, the elf is dead, and when the elves are dead, they do not come back. They didn't in the video game. That didn't happen in the lore of Tolkien. it was a useful device for the video game designers. So if it's a useful device, then J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay are just as likely as anyone to do this, but you can still file it under really, really bad idea because you are flaunting your thumb, you're sticking your nose up at the metaphysical rules, and we're talking about the rules and tools of the immortality of elves and the spiritual system of how elves are immortal, but they're only immortal as long as the world exists, as long as Arda exists in its current physical form. But when they die, they go to the halls of Mandos. If they want to get more appreciation from the fans and be more accurate, then they would show Celebrimbor going to the halls of Mandos, where his ghost will stay there for a very, very, very long time.
Imran brings up an interesting point. In the lore of the show, you have they to kill a white, don't they have to spear it through the heart with its original sword, with the white's original weapon?
Say that again.
In the
Sorry?
lore of the show, to kill a barrow white, didn't they have to kill it with the original sword from the grave?
No, actually, the Barrow Whites were banished by song, by the singing of Tom Bombadil's song. That's
in the
how the
show
Barrow Whites.
lore, stay with me, dude.
In
We're
the
talking
show.
about the show.
Okay.
Don't they
yeah.
grab the swords from the graves to finally slay the Barrow Whites? Like they can only be defeated by the weapons that they were buried with?
Maybe. I barely remember that part.
Well,
I barely remember that
Imran
part.
brings up the point. If they bring back Celebrimbor as a Barrow White, then that would probably mean some key character like Elrond or Galadriel will have to re-kill Celebrimbor to put him out of his misery.
Okay.
Isn't that great drama that you want for TV?
No, it's a bunch of cockamamie stuff that makes no sense in the world of Middle-earth. It's all cockamamie stuff.
Or someone's going to have to employ some dark magic to kill Celebrimbor's spirit in both the Shadow Realm and the Light Realm, and hence corrupt their own elven soul in the process.
And I will read Laswen's comment because, and yeah, all this kind of flies in the face of the previous weeks where we'd been talking about the respect that the Andor writers and directors had for their story and characters, and Rings of Power is missing that. So you keep saying what a great example Andor and their Emmy-winning writer is, to bring that verisimilitude of and that great style of respect and wonderment and in-world logic that works within the world of Star Wars. And now you're okay with this stuff that we're speculating, that they could wildly flaunt the metaphysics of the afterlife. You know what? You don't wildly screw up the metaphysics of the afterlife with any of the elves or the men of Middle-earth. It's the reason why you have an engine of a Númenórean story. The Númenórean story works best as a tragedy of Númenor because of their failing to grasp the metaphysics that they are given, the gift of men. They have a different spiritual destiny than the elves. They don't get to live for thousands and thousands of years. They live for a few hundred years.
Any of that in the show. That is not in the show.
You don't throw that all in the garbage heap.
They have.
You don't.
They did. They have. It's not in the show.
A real delicate, deliberate metaphysical system of an afterlife, and then just throw it away. You don't do that. And just say, "Oh, we're going to need to have
We only got a
force
couple minutes
ghosts."
left in the show. I want everyone in the chat room on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being most excited to watch the show. This all sounds fantastic. And 1 being, I'm never going to watch the show ever again. On a scale from 1 to 10.
Let's put a vote to it. Put a vote.
I want to put it. I want to see a number in the chat to see of what today's rumors, and they're not just rumors. What today's scoops, Saruman is confirmed as the Dark Wizard, and Celebrimbor is coming back as a Barrow White. Do those improve your appreciation and your excitement for Rings of Power, or is this going farther off the rails than you possibly imagine. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm super excited, and 1 I'm very not excited. I want to see in the chat room where
Yeah.
you guys are at. Oi, 5.
0, a 5. K, New Zealanders at a full 10. Princess Toy Nerd at half. 2s, 3s. Anonymous Girl gives us a 1. Susan
I'm
at
telling
a
you,
3.
this show is built for
Dan
me.
bites at 5.
I love Saruman. I love Haladriel. I love the
Last one at
dynamic of
-1.
Haladriel. I love the idea of Force Ghost Brimby, especially if he's a zombie now. I love everything about this show.
no.
I'm at an 8 out of 10 at this point. 8 out of 10. If they can pull this off, this show is meant for me.
I love you, storyteller 0111 says square root of pi. That's very good. I like those numbers. I like square root of pi. Thank you. That's a good one.
This is more
you know
off the
what?
rails than season 1. This is crazier than the
it's
rumor that
really
we got
nutty.
of like Sauron and Galadriel meet on a raft and go on an adventure.
This the point of building a type of immortality that's different than what you think it is. What Professor Tolkien did was not what Anne Rice did. It's not like, oh, you're a vampire, you're gonna live forever.
Oh, the
you're gonna live forever.
vampire
Amen.
Celebrimbor? I love this.
No, what Professor Tolkien created in all of his books, and of course it's backed up by the posthumously published The Silmarillion, especially backed up by all those things that were published after he died. Tolkien created a metaphysical system where the immortality of the elves is not really burnished into the wood forever and ever, amen, immortality. It's immortality linked to the existence of Arda and its physical world. And when you die, you go to a specific place as an elf, and then you
That's
wait
not
for
in the show.
millennia,
Cliff. You're
and you
talking
wait
about
for
stuff
millennia.
that's just not been introduced in the show, hasn't been discussed in the show, hasn't even been hinted at in the show.
To the detriment of the show. Yes, that is correct. To the detriment of the whole show. The metaphysics of this world is too important to the overall structure of why they're trying to get Numenor sunk under the waves in the first place. Get it? Why would men, mortal men, be so insanely spiritually jealous of an immortality that has been denied them? Why would Sauron get the opportunity to manipulate all the men of Numenor into saying, that should be yours? The gift of the elves should be yours, and you should go and raise an armament against the angelic beings in Valinor and go and make war. Make war against heaven, and Sauron will only be able to successfully manipulate Numenorians to that point of worshiping Morgoth, to the point that they will raise an army against the Valar. The only reason why that could ever possibly work as an entire major storyline in this 5 seasons of this TV series is because they would stay true to the afterlife, the rules of the afterlife. If you're going to mess around with that, then you're blowing a hole in the ship, and the ship is going to sink. I'm done.
And I just want to be clear, Dan in the chat room, I am not pushing it today. Cliff's energy is responding to decisions the show is making. Today's gossip is not just gossip, Cliff. We have the facts. We just went through all the facts.
It's not just gossip, and that's what my concern is. My concern is that they're flaunting the metaphysical background of the spiritual system of the elves that live, and then they die, and then they come back. But they can live for thousands and thousands of years, but you can't bring them back.
But
because you need a convenient story device. You're going to break the metaphysical rules of Valar and where the elves go when they die just because you need a story device? That's not a good enough reason to break the world building that Tolkien made. In my gentle opinion, I'm going to bring the temperature down now. It is my only opinion. I'm only one man. I'm only one man walking on God's green earth, lucky to be here, happy to have breath in my lungs, happy to be alive, so that I can love and appreciate J.R.R. Tolkien and what he gave us. And what he gave us is something I deeply, deeply admire and understand. In my DNA, I understand it. I wonder if they do bring back a Force Ghost Celebrimbor, why wouldn't the same criticism against the video game designers also be levied down at them?
More so.
The
more so.
The video game designers of Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War proved reckless in their handling of the afterlife of the elves.
It was
Why
still
did
a
they do
fun
it?
game.
They
I didn't
needed it in
mind
the
it.
video game.
I
They
didn't mind
needed the
it.
convenience of that in the video game.
Well,
You know what?
I just want everyone in
I'm
the
done.
chat room, like Cliff and I, love speculating, and we table everything as Green Dragon gossip. But the energy that I think Cliff is the energy in Cliff right now is because these rumors are proving are proving more factual than we ever thought. I mean, this is as
True. That's
crazy
true.
as Sauron and
Otaku is
Galadriel
correct.
hooking up.
We should wait. Oh my God. We should wait until they actually do. Yeah, Otaku Senpai is
But all
correct.
the signs
Wait
are
until
there.
we find out. Let's wait until we find out what they're actually doing.
Listen,
And then we'll complain
we've
about
got
it later.
we've got an official description in Germany saying Kieran Hines is Saruman, and we've got a casting confirmation that Charles Edwards is on set for season 3 of Rings
He
of
is.
Power, and we've got.
Flashbacks.
And we
Flashbacks
just
are
showed
fine.
you all of those podcasts. You can scroll up in the chat. I've sent you 2 links to the IGN article and the Ringer podcast where McPain basically spilled the beans with their eye roll.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they did. They spilled the beans entirely.
They spilled the beans. It's done. It's a lock. And I'm, as far as I'm concerned, Cliff, we don't have to debate about it anymore. Celebrimbor is coming back, and that is Torn Tuesday. We're happy to bring you all the latest gossip and news every week. We'll be here next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can always watch on YouTube, post, and remember, tag us on any of the socials. We'd love to see your cosplay from Hobbit Day this week because
Yes,
it was such a wonderful day. So, Charles Edwards, we love you, and the more I can see of you on screen, I'm really looking forward to it. Charles Edwards, you're a great man, and you are one of the best parts of Rings of Power.
Yes, he absolutely is. Can somebody get that time machine ready for me so I can go back and get that Valium from 1986?
I got some Tylenol for you.
Whoa. Funny. You're funny. You're funny.
All right, take us out, Cliff.
Been an excellent and very an invigorating conversation today. Very invigorating, talking and debating about the necessities of how you adapt J.R.R. Tolkien, because there's one way to do it and then there's another way to do it. And so it's very interesting to examine this. I love Green Dragon gossip, and the best thing that we can say about it is that we will wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. It's lovely having you all with us. Thank you to the wonderful people in the chat. You joined us today on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, streaming on all these platforms. Great to have you with us on our show. Lovely to have you. You can follow me on, if you wish, if you dare, you can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky at QuickBeam2000, and we can have more fun chatting and debating about the afterlife of elves and how it's really supposed to work. Justin, you're awesome. Thank you for bringing all the meat and potatoes and serving it up on a plate. And boy, did you serve that plate hot. That was a hot plate. We were handling that as best as we could. Hot plate, kids. Really good show. Thanks, everybody, for this past 90 minutes. It has been a pleasure bringing you the news and the gossip and all the fun from the world and the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. We are theonering.net. Follow us on socials, The One Ring Net. You know where we are. We'll see you next week, 5 p.m. Pacific time, as always. And I will be here ready to defend, ready to make a righteous defense. I'll do it again if I have to. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being with us again on Torn Tuesday. And please look after yourselves. Be really careful and be aware of the world around you. Keep your eyes open and be safe out there, okay? A lot of love to you. Thank you. Happy birthday, Sala Baker. Happy birthday to Faramir, to David Wenham. And happy birthday, Frodo Baggins and Bilbo Baggins. You guys are the best. Until next week, good night and good luck. Or as I like to say, Buenos noches y buena suerte. Bye bye, everybody.